Okay, so I know another week, another mountain of news. It's like enough already, right? You just want to like turn it all off.
I get it.
But this deep dive, we're going to be your guide.
Okay. Yeah, we'll cut through the noise and
Yeah.
figure out what actually matters.
Exactly. Not just like a summary, but like, what does it all mean? Why should we care?
Right.
And we're hitting it all.
Yeah.
Conflicts around the world, the planet. What's up with the economy? Plus, oh, and get this, some seriously cool science stuff. Especially what NASA found on that asteroid, Bennu. Talk about a cliffhanger.
It's all connected, like decisions over there. They send these ripples out and boom, it hits us all. Politics, the economy, even climate change, it's all one big
Web.
Yeah.
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 Well, let's talk hotspots then. Gaza. That's not news, sadly, but this week, it's really bad.
It's the people that get me, So many civilians.
Both sides.
Yeah, it's just awful.
It's a mess, and now you've got like the U.S., Europe. Everyone's trying to
like kiss ceasefire, yeah.
get help in there.
Ex-
But the big question is like, what if it doesn't work? What then?
Things could get really unstable.
The whole region.
Yeah, and beyond. It's a reminder how quickly things change.
Yeah, it's scary. Speaking of which, Ukraine.
Still going.
Ugh.
And it's reshaping things, especially in Europe.
How so?
Energy, for one.
Yeah.
They depended on Russia, and that's gone haywire.
Right.
Then you've got the sanctions, which,
So let's get real. Like, I'm in Europe. What does that actually mean for me?
well, your energy bills.
Yeah.
Way up.
Yeah.
Some stuff's harder to get, more expensive.
So it's not just something on the news.
Nope.
It hits your wallet.
It hits your life, yeah.
Okay, well, while we're on interconnectedness, how about our planet? Climate change, guys. This isn't the future. It's N now W.
It's happening.
Every week there's something.
And the Amazon, that's vital.
Yeah, Brazil's saying they'll cut deforestation like in half by 2030.
Sounds great, right?
Ambitious.
How? There's so many different interests there.
The Amazon's like the planet's lungs,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So everyone wants it protected.
Right.
But Brazil also needs its economy to grow.
And that means agriculture, which often means...
Clearing land, yeah.
So how do you do both?
That's the question. Can they actually pull this off?
And what would it even look like?
No more illegal logging, that's for sure. Sustainable farming, helping the locals make money without chopping down trees.
It can't just be on Brazil either. The world needs to help.
Money, tech, making sure they keep their promises.
A global problem.
Global solutions, yeah.
Well, speaking of global problems hitting home, Europe's got this crazy heat wave.
Yeah, and it's not just like, oh, it's hot.
Right.
It's messing up the farms. France, Italy, Spain, their harvests are all wonky,
Meaning less food.
which means
Higher prices. So it hits us all.
climate change in action, you might say.
And the scary thing is, this isn't just a fluke, right?
This is what the models predicted, and it's going to get worse.
More often, more intense.
Exactly.
So the question is, are we ready for this? Do we have what it takes to, adapt, to make sure everyone has enough food? It's not just Europe's problem.
It's our problem.
We got to get ahead of this, not just react when it hits.
Change how we do things, our policies, everything.
Yeah, a big rethink is needed. And while we're on the topic of rethinking things, let's talk about the global economy. You might want to hold on tight because...
Oh, it sounds ominous. What kind of trouble are we talking?
Well, imagine, a huge spider web, right? You tug on one little thread and the whole thing shakes.
I see where you're going with this.
And right now, some of those threads, super shaky.
Okay, lay it on me. Let's start with China. They've been like the powerhouse.
Right, unstoppable.
But lately, not so much. And I hear the property market is
Messy, yeah.
like, how messy.
You got these giant real estate companies up to their necks in debt. Investors are freaking out.
It's a bubble about to burst.
Classic case, yeah.
And doesn't that, affect everyone? Oh, when China sneezes, the world gets a cold.
So how worried should we be?
Beijing's trying to fix it. Stimulus packages, trying to prop things up.
But will it work? That's
Yeah.
the million-dollar question, yeah.
And if it doesn't, what then? I'm sure folks listening are, checking their stocks right now.
Keep an eye on it, for sure. If China slows down, it could hit markets worldwide. Less demand for stuff, businesses hurt.
It all comes back to that balance, doesn't it?
It does.
Speaking of balance, over the U.S., the Fed just raised interest rates again.
Trying to walk that tightrope?
Yeah, fighting inflation.
Make borrowing more expensive, cool things down a bit.
But doesn't that also hurt people?
There's always downsides.
Like if you're trying to buy a house,
Right, higher rates, bigger mortgage payments.
Or start a business.
Loans get pricier, cuts into your profits.
The Fed's got to thread the needle, right?
Inflation down, but not crash the economy.
High-stakes stuff.
It affects us all, one way or another.
Whew. Okay, I need a breather after all that economic doom and gloom. Let's talk about something a little more, I don't know, uplifting. What's new in the world of science and health?
Speaking of things affecting everyone, antibiotic resistance.
Right, I heard the WHO is calling it a silent pandemic. Didn't we just have one of those?
Think of it this way. We've used antibiotics for ages, right? To fight bacteria.
Yeah, from ear infections to, like, serious stuff.
But now, those bacteria are getting smarter.
Like resistant to the meds.
Exactly. Like a microscopic arms race.
And we're losing.
If we don't get a handle on this, even little infections could become deadly.
Okay, now that's scary. So what do we do about it?
No easy fix. It's got to be multi-pronged. First, stricter rules on using antibiotics, both in healthcare and agriculture.
So we're not just, like, handing them the weapon to...
Strain themselves up.
Yeah, makes sense. What else?
We got to pump money into research. New antibiotics, new ways to fight these bugs.
Stay ahead of the game.
Exactly.
And I guess we all got to be more careful, right? I know I've been guilty of, like, demanding antibiotics when I probably didn't need them.
It happens. We need to trust our doctors. Only use them when absolutely necessary.
Think bigger picture.
It's global. Needs a global response.
Okay, enough serious stuff for now. Let's talk space. NASA's been busy, haven't they? You mentioned that asteroid Bennu earlier.
Ah, yes, the time capsule from way back.
That's right. They sent that probe, OSIRIS-REx, to it, right?
Orbited it for 2 years, mapped it, got samples.
And those samples just landed.
They did.
And get this. What they found is blowing everyone's minds.
It's pretty incredible stuff.
Like, makes you rethink everything.
Organic molecules,
It's-
the building blocks of life.
Whoa, hold on. We're not talking aliens, are we?
Not quite. Doesn't mean there was life on Bennu,
Okay.
but it means the ingredients for life might be way more common than we thought.
So this little asteroid, billions of miles away, could tell us about, like, how life began.
It's kind of humbling, right? This tiny planet, and we're just figuring out how much we don't know.
I'm getting chills, and this is just the beginning. They'll be studying those samples for years.
Who knows what else they'll find.
Yeah, it's like we're constantly learning.
Pushing the boundaries of what we know, our place in the universe.
And sometimes, the biggest discoveries come from the most unexpected places. Man, that was a lot. Gaza, China, antibiotics, asteroids, it's like...
Whole world in an hour.
Right. But hopefully you're feeling like...
More plugged in.
Yeah, not so overwhelmed by it all.
Exactly, knowing what's really going on.
It's that connection, right, that keeps hitting me. Like, what happens over there?
Affects us here.
It's kind of amazing.
And scary.
Definitely both.
Means we got to pay attention.
Right. We're not just watching, we're part of it.
Every choice we make.
Or don't make.
It matters, even if we don't see it right away.
So we got to stay informed.
Engage.
And try to, like, make good choices.
For ourselves and for the planet.
Speaking of which, remember Brazil and the Amazon.
That deforestation goal.
Huge goal.
So let's ask you, a listener.
What can Brazil actually do to make this happen?
It's tricky, right? They need the economy.
But they also need the rainforest.
Are there ways to do both? Some new ideas out there?
And what about the rest of us? Can we help?
Should we be giving money, tech, or just like...
Making sure they stick to their promises.
It's a tough one, but we got to figure it out.
Because the Amazon, that's not just Brazil's problem.
It's everyone's problem.
It affects us all.
If that rainforest goes, we all feel it.
So what do you think? What are the solutions?
We want to hear your ideas.
Share them with us. What clicked for you? What made you think?
Let's keep this conversation going.
Because the more we know, the better we can handle all this, right?
Exactly. Make choices that are good for everyone.
And for the planet, too.
Ay.
It's all connected, remember?
All right, folks, that's a wrap for today. Until next time, stay curious out there.
Keep learning.
And keep diving deep